What's going on? Dan Klein here. Hey, in this video, what I want you to do, your next step in the process is I want you to go ahead and I need you to buy a phone number for your local business that you're working on right now. So you don't want to buy a 1-877 number or 1-800 number. This needs to be a local number in your market. So either at the top of the page where you're looking at right now, there's going to be a thing that says buy phone numbers. Right under this video, we're going to have a thing that says buy phone numbers. Now this is going to go through my calling platform. I've had this calling platform custom designed for exactly what I'm teaching you. There's other calling platforms out on the net. If for some reason we can't find a phone number in your market, it's very, very rare that it happens, but from time to time it is rare and we do run into it. That's not a problem. I have some other solutions. They're not perfect solutions, but they will work. Okay, so I set this thing up. This is not a profit center for me. This is literally, I'm doing this at the bare bones, trying to figure in the minutes you're going to use and everything. It's a flat fee per month. It's very, very inexpensive per business you set up. It's $15 to get this thing set up. And I'll show you why you want to go with this versus going with other systems in just a second. So you're just going to click on the buy the phone number and you're going to get this. What you want to do is just go ahead and fill this information out. I'll just show you as you fill it out, and make sure you just do it all correct. Your phone number, your company name. If you don't have a company name, just put your name right now. It's not a problem. We can always change that in the future. Campaign niche, so it'd be limo. Area code. So this is going to be the area code that you're going to need your phone number in. So in mine, it'd be 541, and then where I want to forward the call to. So for instance, since you're just starting and since you don't have a company to work with yet, most likely, just go over to Google and type in limo in your city and look for the limo company in your market. Okay, so let's say I was in Eugene and I wanted to send it to this phone number. Now again, right off the bat, it doesn't really matter because you're going to put a whisper on the front of this call. We're going to show you that in just a second, and this thing's going to be working for you, so you don't have to make cold calls or any of that stuff, right? So just pick a number at random. Try to research a company, see if the company is a good company to go with, just based on if they look like they have a couple limos and blah, 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 blah. Maybe they're not number one, so they're going to be hungry for some business, whatever it might be. Pick one and just go ahead for the time being. We can always change this, okay? So we'll just go back. Let's just say for now, we're going to send it to, whoops, thought I copied that. We're going to send it to this limo company as an example. Forward the calls there. Okay, not a big deal. And what should the whisper message say? This call was delivered, or actually, I want you to put this free lead was sent by Dan Klein. Very simple, and that's going to be a voice. It's a automated. It reads it as a robot, so it'll just be a male or female voice. I usually choose depending on if you're a male or female, I'll choose it that way. Would you like to be emailed when calls are missed? The answer is yes, you obviously do, because if the company's not answering your calls, you want to make sure you get back to these clients. This is, you'll never get close to this, but I just put this in there just so it protects me if you guys went and left the phone on for 3 days straight, because I do get charged per minute for all of this stuff. So there's just basic terms and conditions that if you go over 1,000 minutes, which honestly, you won't even get close to that in probably 3 months, to be honest with you. But this is just a monthly fee of $15, nothing crazy. And you set up my phone number. In about an hour's time, you're going to get a username and password from our phone system, which is callsling.com. And like I said, there's going to be some stuff in the trainings coming here in the future that is the reason you're going to want to stick with CallSling. CallSling has got some incredible features that we've built into it that you're going to want to be a part of, and that I had it built in for my business. So just stick with me on CallSling. Hopefully I have a number for you. It's only been 1 or 2 instances where the numbers have just not been available and we've had to wait or put in a ticket, and I got some solutions around that. But in the meantime, go ahead, set up your phone number, and then watch me on the next video on what you're going to do with the phone number next. All right, see you guys. All right. Okay, so great news for you guys is you guys now have a site up. You have your content all done, hopefully. If you haven't, I want you to stop this video and go back and do your content. That is more important than what I'm about to teach you right now. But hopefully you have your site up, you've got your domain hooked up, you got your content done, you got all those things kind of rocking and rolling, and you're just cruising along. It's a fantastic job, by the way. Okay, now I'm going to teach you some stuff that's totally screws with people's heads for so long, but it's so easy, and you don't have to go buy an expensive program like Adobe if you don't want to. Now, I actually own Adobe because I've owned it for years, and that's what I like to use. But you know what? At the end of the day, all you needed to use is something that works. And so, although I'm not as great on this, I know that it's the same process. So let me show you. You go to Pixlr.com. It's just a photo editing software. Okay, but you don't need to become like some crazy photo editor. You just need to know one trick. Click on that one right there, and you're going to go ahead and create a new image. Okay, so I want you to always click transparent. That's important for these images. I'll tell you why in just a second. Okay, and so we want to take this down to the width needs to be 200 and oh, let me see if I can do this by hand here. 270 by 60. Transparent. Okay. Boom. There we go. So all that is like that's our canvas right there. So that's pretty easy. And what this canvas is going to be is this is going to be our phone number. Okay. So the phone number that you just went and bought that we sent to you now. And if you just bought it, give us like an hour to get it over to you. We buy it. We set the whole entire thing up, get your login credentials. It will be to you soon, okay? So I'm just going to use a dummy phone number, 541-555-5555. Okay? So all I did was clicked on the text, the A button, put it in there, and now what I want you to do is pick impact font. Just type in I guess it doesn't work like that here. Go down to the eyes. Like I said, I use Adobe, but it's the same. It's the same, really. This is just a free, cool, easy version or easy thing to use online. Oh, look, I'm a genius. I told you guys I wasn't that smart. Gosh darn it. A, B, C, D, H, I, J, K. Impact. There you are. Woo! Man, I like looking like a moron on camera. It's awesome. Go ahead and bring that font size up. Make sure it fits inside your stuff. There you go. So it looks like 44. Seems to be a good size. Center that thing up. Just put it right there in the center. Go ahead and make that color white. Now I think this looks a little different than I'm used to, but boom, just drag that little thing. Wherever you drag this thing is going to be the color. So I'm going to drag it right up to that corner tip. And I'll get into this other stuff with this later on, but this is all you need to know. Boom. Okay, now we have a phone number right there. Fantastic. Now you can't see it because it's on a transparent background, right? But that's okay, because what that does is when you're on your website and the background isn't. Let me just show you a website real quick. So the background isn't. You could do a different color. I like white. I think it looks good. But here's the background of what our limo sites look like. And so what we want to do is we want to make that look like that. Now, I put a little drop shadow on mine. Now, I have not done this inside of this, so bear with me. I'm going to pause and find it for you so you don't have to watch me screw around. 1 second. Well, I looked around. I couldn't find the drop shadow, so I'm just going to continue moving on because it's really not all that important. If anyone finds the drop shadow or if they want to go on YouTube and look that up, it's not a make or break type of a deal. I just added it, but let's do this from now. So now what you want to do at this point, if you find the drop shadow, great, no big deal. Go ahead and hit save. And what I want you to do is this is important. So we're going to call this, call it limo. Like if it's Eugene Limo phone number. That's fine. Call it like that. It's always nice to have some keywords in your titles of your stuff. And then I want you to make sure you save this as a transparent PNG. Boom. That way when you put it on a page, if the background's black, that white's going to pop really good. Okay? So you're going to hit OK. And then that's now saved to your desktop, wherever you're going to save it. And then we're going to hop in over to Weebly here. Now this site is a old site, so it's not the exact design you guys are looking at. But oh yeah, it is. I just threw a different background. Okay, you're going to go to logo here. You're going to change this to logo, upload from your computer, and it's going to be Eugene Limo phone number. Boom. Open. Bingo. There it is. Publish it, and that's going to be now on every page. So it looks great even without the drop shadow. Go ahead, do that next, and that's what I want up in that top section there. Okay? Make sure you hit publish, and we'll see you on the next video.
We've just made some rather significant updates and improvements to our columns functionality. The most notable of these changes is how columns are created. Whereas previously you'd have to use our old columns element in order to place other elements side by side, now you can simply drag elements right next to each other. Simple as that. We also used to limit the number of columns you could create, but our new approach enables you to have as many of them as you want. Now you might worry that having the option to so easily create columns could lead to a sloppy looking page. But now when you adjust the width of any column, we'll automatically guide and snap it to columns above or below it so your content doesn't look lopsided. But you won't be limited by this either, as you can still drag the column divider wherever you like simply by holding down the Shift key and moving it as usual to the left or to the right. You can also still adjust the amount of space between each column by clicking right on the column divider and using the space setting. Our new columns are also smarter than ever before. Notice how if you drag an image right onto a text element, that the text will wrap around that image automatically. Now, because of these improvements, we've removed two elements that are no longer useful: the columns element and the text with image element, while at the same time we've also added a brand new element called the spacer. The spacer enables you to create blank spaces or columns anywhere on a page, which you can then easily make as wide or as tall as you need. With these updates, it's now easier than ever to build a great looking site on Weebly. So dive right in and let us know what you think.
What's up guys, Brad Campbell here, and in this video I want to cover how to create compelling content that converts for your local websites, okay? Now this can be applied to any niche regardless of who you're servicing, because we're really big on limos right now. Some of the examples here are for like a limo site that we're going to build out. But this template can be applied to anything. I mean, advertising, Facebook posts, blogs, websites, and any niche that you're building your website in. Roofers, plumbers, doctors, dentists, lawyers, limo drivers, taxi companies. It doesn't matter. This is just good old-fashioned direct response copywriting, and copywriting is nothing more than the words you use to basically share your message with the end user. Okay, so it could be spoken or written or whatever. In this case we're talking about written. So again, this is a template that you can model for those of you who just completely draw a blank. When you see how easy this is, but you open up that Weebly page and you're like, man, what do I put on this page? This is a great way not only to format the text, but to organize it, format it, make sure that it reads and converts well. And it gives you an idea of what the hell you're supposed to be writing about. Okay, so again, let's pretend that we are creating, and Dan and I are as a case study, but a Phoenix limo site. Okay, so, oh, and by the way, just to give credit where credit's due, this is something that I learned from Frank Kern, and also some tips and strategies for more effective writing that I learned from a few copywriting courses that I purchased myself. But a lot of this outline and format is from a guy named David Ogilvy. Okay, and if you want to Google him or research him, a lot of people call him basically like the godfather of advertising. So he wrote some huge ads that they published in the newspaper way back in like the 60s and 70s, I believe. In 1962, Time called him the most sought-after wizard in today's advertising industry. So he blew up. I forget which company it was even with, Ogilvy and Mather or whatever it was, but just massive, like many millions or even billions of dollars of business generated from these ads that he wrote. Okay, and so this is the format that he used, and it's actually surprisingly simple. So you always start off with the headline. Okay, so if this was my homepage for a limo rental site that I'm making for Phoenix, Arizona, this David Ogilvy suggests that you always start with a how-to headline. Okay, now feel free to deviate from this slightly. Again, this is just a template for those of you who get stuck really easily with content creation. Maybe you've never written a single web page or a blog post in your life, so this is something that you can model and apply. So if you were doing a dentist in Chandler, Arizona, you would just switch the headline accordingly. You know, how to, let's say you were working with, or you wanted to build a site for a pediatric dentist in Chandler, Arizona. Okay, so you would change the headline, how to book a hassle-free dental visit for your child in whatever. You know, that's terrible. I'm like horrible on the spot on camera, but you get the point, right? Change it to the niche you're in and start with the how-to headline, okay? And speak directly to what that Googler, that end user, what you're wanting to rank for, what are they looking for? Are you looking for a sedation dentist? Are you looking for a waterproofer in Los Angeles? Are you looking for a taxi service in St. Paul, Minnesota? You know, again, how-to headline, and you're going to tell them how to do exactly what that Google user, what that search engine user was looking for. So whatever they're looking for, I think that's pretty clear. So in this case, how to book a lavish limo service in Phoenix, Arizona in less than 3 minutes. Okay, so this site is for people in Phoenix, Arizona who want to book a limo service. So plain and simple, I'm telling them basically right here that you're in the perfect spot. And of course, I'm trying to make it as appealing as possible by saying, you know, it's simple and quick and easy. Okay, so you start with the how-to headline. Part number 2, let me get out my highlighter here, is a statement that basically gives you credibility. Okay, so who's writing this and why should anyone care? Okay, it's a little bit more obvious with local sites, but again, this model, it really fits surprisingly well for anything you want to write. It just makes sense rather than going, what should I put here? What should I start with the first paragraph? Tell them who you are and why they should care. So I just talk as though the name of the domain, so the one I'm working on is luxurylimousphoenix.com, is the name of the company. So by Luxury Limos Phoenix, comma, Arizona's premier high-end limousine rental company. And then I sort of did like a quote thing here, and I'm going to tell them who we are. So this is why they should listen. We pamper individuals and groups of all sizes with safe and stylish transportation services to and from the airport, birthdays, weddings, proms, parties, corporate functions, sporting events, and everything in between. That's why they should care. This is what we're going to do for you. And here's a statement that says who we are and why you should care about the words on this website, okay? Let me hide this. Let's go down a little bit, okay? So then, this David Ogilvy guy was famous for this. He was big on numbered lists. People love reading bullets and numbered lists. So this is huge. Rather than just write paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, what he found was that exponentially more people would read through this if it was in a numbered list. So this is really interesting. And this is all stuff, if you followed any of my old stuff, you'll see that these are changes that I literally just made, depending on when you're watching this, within the past week. So this is all stuff that I'm doing. I'm applying this to all of the copy, the websites, whatever that I'm doing. I'm following this because I really believe in this. And why would you try and reinvent the wheel when this dude did like billions of dollars worth of sales with these simple little ads and types of advertorials and pages that he put out in newspapers? Why would I think that I know better than him? Of course I don't. That's silly. So before you make the site, jot down like the top 10 or 15 things that you would want to say if you were that actual dentist, that limo company, that roofer, that whatever. What would you say? And if you have no idea because you're not familiar, let me pause this real quick. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. Okay, so as far as figuring out what you would say, because obviously a lot of these niches that we're going into, I mean, we have no idea about the business, right? What do you do? Very, very simple. Do a Google search, bring up the top few sites on Google. It doesn't even have to be the same city, and find maybe the best sites that you can, and what are they saying? What are they talking about, right? So I know nothing about limos, but I know just from a little bit of common sense and a little bit of looking around at other sites, some things that could differentiate us and or things that, the ideal customers are searching for. They want, clean, nice, well-kept, new limos. They want punctual drivers, right? That's important. If you have to be somewhere, you're getting picked up. And that's one of the biggest things, is that you need to have the limo waiting there for you early, ideally, not just on time, but early. And they want to get there safely, and in style, So these are all things, and I wrote this pretty quick. So as I build out my site, I'll follow this template, and I'll change some of these things, as I go around. And one of the bullets here will say, why that is in just a second. But let's just go through these here. Okay, so again, a bolded list, a numbered list tends to work best. So you can put a number 1, and then what he also recommends is bolding the first most important point of that number. So you have your first point that you want to make, whatever that is, right? So you put a number 1, and then you bold it. You bold that first most important sentence, because remember, what will happen is people will be more likely to go through this because they see the numbered list, and we're just curious by nature, and we want to get through those numbers, and then our eyes are going to be drawn automatically to what's bolded. Okay, so if they skim through this, maybe they won't read the rest of the paragraph, but they'll probably look at the bullet point and what you bolded, So if you look at like celebrity gossip magazines, on the flight home from Cabo, I was bored out of my mind, even though it was a short flight, and my wife was like, oh, do you want to read this, whatever, In Touch, Us Weekly, whatever it was? And I was like, no, I don't care about the Kardashians. And I was like, wait a minute. I looked at the cover of it, I'm like, dude, hand that over. So like the whole rest of the flight, I was tearing through this thing. Why? Because I realized right then and there that this very format that I had learned from the most successful, arguably, direct response copywriter, advertising exec, or whatever of all time, these celebrity gossip magazines were actually following the same format. So if you look, you're going to see a ton of similarities. So like, I looked at the cover, and then I looked at this story about the Kardashians, and wouldn't you know, there was, of course, a really intriguing, compelling headline. It might not have been a how-to, because that might not have been appropriate, but an awesome headline that really grabbed your attention, and then a little sort of conditioning statement underneath that to really kind of learn about what you were going to learn in that article, and then short little paragraphs broken up. And I believe that the article I was reading even had the numbered list, and the first sentence was absolutely bolded in each paragraph. I just thought that was amazing, because I'm like, what, these copywriters that are doing these magazines that do millions and millions of dollars worth of sales, and they have to grab your attention right there while you're ready to check out at the grocery store or whatever it is. Those are some of the most skilled copywriters on the planet today. I decided to take it as a learning experience and pay attention to that, and this is exactly what they were doing. Okay, so you can go through here and you can kind of get the point. So our limos are extravagant. Okay, bolded that. We don't cut corners or cheap out. We want Phoenix, Arizona residents to feel like a true A-lister when they book with us. Okay. Number 2, our drivers are all class, professional, punctual, patriotic, and polite. Arizonans rave about our upscale limousine chauffeurs. Okay, now a couple things here, and I'll touch on this stuff later, but this is what we call alliteration. I'll touch on that later. This is, a synonym. So as far as on-page optimization, I just want you to write naturally and comprehensively, following this structure to get your content down. We're going to come back next week and worry about the actual optimization as far as keywords and where to put what. But I really don't want you to obsess too much about this, because with this local stuff, it's so easy to win. You're better off just writing naturally for the end user and writing long and comprehensive and using lots of synonyms, so you'll rank for all sorts of keywords that you didn't even think about. You'll get more calls. You'll make more money each and every month, and you won't run the risk of over-optimizing and actually getting a penalty, because this stuff, no one knows what they're doing. So you really don't have to worry too much about optimizing these sites. And again, I'll cover all of that next week. So for now, I don't want you to think about optimization. The only thing I want you to keep in mind is use lots of synonyms. So, some of the main keywords for like this site would be, limo service Phoenix, limo rental Phoenix, Phoenix limos, rent a limo in Phoenix, Arizona. Those are going to be some of the obvious main terms that I want this site to rank for. But remember, there's going to be people search for Phoenix, people are going to search for AZ, people are going to search for Arizona spelled out. People, I mean, probably not going to search for Arizonans, but this is all stuff that tells Google that our site is relevant for the Phoenix, Arizona area. But notice I'm not saying the same things every single time. I'm not saying limo service Phoenix AZ just plastered throughout this. That would be overkill. So limo, limos, limousine, limousines, driver, chauffeur, chauffeurs, Phoenix, Arizona. What types of lingo do people in the Phoenix area know? You know, I might say Valley, East Valley, North Valley, West Valley, whatever. That's specific to Phoenix, right? And using those terms, I'm going to pick up more search volume because people search for all kinds of crazy stuff that you would never expect them to. But Google's also going to realize that. Google clusters groups of keywords together, and if you're using all the synonyms and your competitors are not, you're going to be seen as that most relevant website for, you know, Phoenix limo rental for the main terms, okay? So notice the synonyms that I'm using in just these real quick examples, okay? Number 3, our rental service is flexible. It's all about you. We haven't met a schedule we couldn't conquer yet. We're there not just on time, but early, wherever and whenever you need us. And then, you know, that was just some quick examples. Obviously, we'd continue with the numbered list. We'd want to make this as long as possible and think of everything that we possibly could and really differentiate ourselves from the competition. So, and again, I like to think of not only each Weebly site that we make, but each page on that site as a living, breathing business that will go to work for you for years to come. So I hate to sound like a broken record, but longer, more comprehensive content will be worth the added time and energy. It really will. So don't be like, oh, just slopping this stuff down and rushing it. Get it down. Keep building it out because you're going to get more search volume, and the more search volume you get, the more long tail phrases that you scoop up with this longer, stronger content, the more calls you're going to generate, the more emails you're going to collect, the more you're worth to this business. Okay, so this is something that you only have to do it once. It's going to make you money month after month, year after year, hopefully for the rest of your life. So if it takes you 2 hours to make a page, that's 2 hours well spent. That's about the best way you could possibly spend 2 hours, in my opinion. Okay, this is coming from a guy who's done around 7 figures right now by myself with my web pages. Okay, so I know this just as good as anyone. Okay, make it easy on the eyes. If you've ever followed any of my sites, if you've looked at any of the local sites, the case studies I'm building out, and look at this. Look at even this PDF that I made. See, I practice what I preach, right? I'm not going to tell you to write a certain way and then not do it myself. Easy on the eyes. Do you notice how easy this is to consume? White background, large black font, no crazy fonts that are cursive or hard to read, just very clean, very professional, lots of white space. So short paragraphs, short sentences, lots of white space, high resolution pictures for a great first impression. Okay, you want your site to look the part. The way you look professional is to remember that less is more, right? Unless you have a professional graphic designer that you're working with, don't go and make your site look all gaudy and sloppy like a third grader made it by trying to put in your own graphics and stuff like that. If you go to jobkilling.com, you would not believe the amount of positive feedback I've heard on that site. That's just a free Weebly theme with a really good picture and just a black background, large black font. I say 2 fonts maximum. You always want a white background with black font. You want to make it bigger and easier on the eyes. Again, short sentences, short paragraphs. But people go to that site and they're like, wow, that's such a cool site. It's just a free theme with the right font, the right background, and really crystal clear pictures and a color scheme that matches. Okay, so I like to say a maximum of 2 fonts, like one for your headlines and one for the basic text. And then don't cheap out or get sloppy with your pictures. So I recommend going and paying for pictures. This is all stuff that we can give you advice on in the private Facebook group. But you know, it's worth it to spend a few bucks on a really nice picture that makes the website pop, as opposed to some cheap, cheesy limousine picture in this case that you scraped off Google. That's not even illegal, it's not even legal probably in the first place. Remember, you can't just steal people's pictures and use them. You have to have permission, and when in doubt, link to the source that you're taking it from, or get their permission first, ideally. That's another reason why I like to buy my pictures, because I don't want to violate any silly, copyright terms or anything like that and get slapped with a lawsuit. It's unlikely to happen, but it could happen. So short paragraphs, short sentences, lots of white space, easy to read, less is more, and very, very clear pictures that are the appropriate size. They're not stretched so that they get all blurry and stuff like that. So put some time into the layout of your web pages, okay? And follow exactly how Dan said to in the prior videos. Clear, consistent call to action. Each page should have a phone number at the top and a quote form. Depending on the niche, there may be some niches where quote form wouldn't make sense, so obviously use a little common sense here. But basically every page should have a large and in-charge phone number, local phone number at the top, so that people who have their phone handy can just pick up the phone and dial right then and there. And then I also like to have an opportunity for them to become an email lead. So a phone lead is one type of lead, but if they enter their email or enter the information and get a quote, that's another form of lead. Not everyone's going to call right away. And we found that like quote forms, for example, work extremely well because they don't really even understand that they're becoming a lead. They're not really putting two and two together that now we have your contact information and we can follow up with you. It's not deceiving. That's just, that's how, look at any insurance site. Get a free insurance quote here. Why do you think they're doing that? They're doing that so they have your name, your phone number, and your email address so that they can follow up with you and catch that sale, okay? So every page should have a clear, consistent call to action. Phone number at the top, and then some sort of call to action to get a quote or enter your email for this or contact us here at this email address, whatever it is, so that they can call or email with questions, concerns, to learn more about the product or service, whatever it is, okay? Every single page. Unique content only. I know Dan hammered this home, and we're going to continue to hammer it home. Just a friendly reminder, never plagiarize or swipe content. Modeling and rewording is fine, but every last sentence has to be unique or you will not rank. I cannot stress that enough. Don't copy someone's sentence or paragraph and paste it into your own. It's just too damn easy to rewrite it. If you love a sentence or a paragraph, great. Now go just change some of the words, change the formatting around. Make sure it's 100% unique. There's not a single sentence on your entire site that's copied from somewhere else. It cannot happen, or it'll be a lot harder to rank, okay? Write naturally. This is for the end user. I touched on this earlier, not for Google. Do not keyword stuff or overdo it with phrases you want to rank for. Use lots of synonyms. Just write naturally. How would you say it? How would you describe it to your buddy if he wanted to inquire about your limo service? So go see what limo companies talk about and then write it the way you would say it to a friend who wants to rent a limo, right? Let it flow. Don't be a perfectionist and hold yourself up with the writing part. This is something that I've always struggled with, and here's what I finally learned. Some of my best blog posts and blog pages of all time that have made me the most money. The thing is it didn't come out that way the first time around or the second time around or the third time around. What I did was I just got my thoughts down on paper really quick, and the first draft was just terrible, right? But then I just kept going back and editing and revising. It's like the job killing pages. I mean, the way those are right now, I love those. And that was hours and hours and hours worth of tweaking, right? I didn't just those sentences didn't just come to my head. I just went over it and over it and over it and kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until I got it to where I liked it. Now, I don't want Dan to be super annoyed by this because he's like, it doesn't matter, it's just local. And what he's saying is it really doesn't. If you're ranked at the top of Google and you have a clear call to action and your site looks the part, people probably are not going to read through a lot of your content. They may, and that's why I'm going over all this stuff. I just want to over deliver with this and really help those that really want to be strong writers learn some of this stuff. Don't freak out on anything I say from here on down. This is all stuff that will come with time, but these are just tips on how to become a more effective copywriter, basically. So all of your emails, all of your web pages, all of your ads that you may write will convert so much better for you. But keep in mind, with local, it's pretty damn easy. It's basically just getting the eyeballs on your site, having the phone number and the quote form at the top. That's all there is to it. Now, if the more of this you can implement and learn and get better at, the better off you're going to be, because those people who do read the content are going to convert better. You're going to make more money, so on and so forth. Okay, so but just remember, don't sit here and try to write like a professional copywriter on the very first draft, because it's going to take way too long. Just get it down. Get your bullets down. You can always reword the bullets. You can reorder the numbered list, right? You can go back and tweak and edit it So just get stuff down so that you can publish it and get live and get the process rolling. And then remember, you have days or maybe even a few weeks to really get it to where you really want it. So first time around, it's going to be pretty bad. That's okay. We can go back over and over and over as much as you want and get it perfect. So do not be a perfectionist. Do not get held back. You should be able to make these pages in 20, 30 minutes tops, and then, come back to it tomorrow and just change, just get the first 2 paragraphs tweaked. Come back the next day, get the next 2 paragraphs tweaked. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint, and just come back and work on it little by little, and pretty soon you're going to have a 10 or 15 page site that's just going to read so freaking smooth and be so much better than any of the competitors in that local space. Okay, so just let it flow. Now this is copywriting stuff, right? So again, don't worry too much about this, but these are just tips for those who really want to get into this and get extremely effective with their wording. Okay, so these are little things that I've studied and learned and tried to implement that have made my blogs and my pages really successful. Okay, so find your voice. It's all about personality. So rather than just being bland and writing all corporate and professional, what you can do is really speak to your ideal customers' worldviews. Now, again, don't overthink this. Don't start saying, but I don't know what my limo site's ideal customers are. Good point. You probably don't. But just writing, even with your voice and your personality, is going to add so much to your writing and make your words really pop off that page, okay? So the easiest way to do this without overthinking it, again, is just to write through your real voice, right? If something comes to mind that you think is funny, consider saying it. Don't go overboard, because these local sites, you're not trying to sell yourself, you're not trying to brand yourself, you're not trying to be your own leader. So I will admit, this stuff is not as important for local sites. Again, I'm just trying to over-deliver and give you guys, if you really want to put a lot of effort into your sites and make them awesome, these are things that you can do, okay? You don't need to be as risky or anything with local sites. I wouldn't be dropping swear words and stuff like that, because that's not what the end business owner is going to want. So again, use some common sense. Take this with a grain of salt here, okay? So number 11, leverage sense-based descriptors. And again, this is just copywriting in general. If you want to become a more powerful communicator through the written word, remember, you have five senses, not just one. So don't limit yourself by, most people write from a visual perspective only. They talk about how something looks, I went to vacation. I just got back from a vacation to Cabo. The pool was crystal blue, whatever. The beach was white. The sand was this, that. They're always talking about how it looked, okay? But ask yourself, how does it feel? How does it sound? How does it taste? How does it smell? And if you can start touching on some of those sense-based descriptors, you're going to see that your writing starts taking on a life of its own, okay? Next, annihilate your verbs. Of course, I purposely used a better verb there. So this tip will take you from me to bomb diggity. And remember, social shares that you earn from lathering, again, I'm trying to practice what I'm talking about here, from lathering your Weebly pages with silky smooth copy means more phone calls. And more phone calls means more money. So some people, used to comment on some of my old blogs and be like, man, I don't know what it is about your writing, but it's just so much different, whatever. And because it was different and it just jumped off the page and it spoke to them, and it stood apart from all the other, Me Too bloggers out there, guess what? People were hitting the like button. They were hitting the Google Plus button. They were hitting the retweet button. So, again, this isn't as important for local, but if you do choose to learn it and implement it and do it, guess what? If you rank in Google for limo rental Phoenix and you actually took the time to learn and do this stuff, I would bet you that you're going to get people sharing your stuff and passing it around just because you earned it with the content alone, because it was so unique and so awesome compared to every other Me Too yawn-worthy limo site out there. So one of the best tips I can give you to become a more effective writer, do that first draft and then go back, identify all your verbs, instead of use good verbs, annihilate your verbs. You see the difference there? Big difference. Instead of lose belly fat, obliterate it, and the more uncommon you can be, the better off you'll be as well. So I'll get to that in just a second. I don't want to get point number 14 there, but so use better verbs. Change use to annihilate. You get the point, okay? Murder your metaphors. Again, that's using point number 12 right there. So murder your metaphors. Instead of use metaphors, I said murder metaphors, okay? It's a better verb, and it's way more unique and memorable and kind of slaps you in the face as opposed to use metaphors, okay? That's pretty boring. That's pretty bland. So again, have fun with this. An example I've used, I used this, I think, in talking about our job killing coaching. So I said something like this: the sugar-free Red Bull to your shot and a half of Grey Goose, pairing the right local business with our local mogul model results in serious synergy. Okay, so I compared picking the right type of business to work with, like a limo service, to monetizing it this way with this local strategy we're doing. I compared that to a Red Bull vodka. Okay, do you see how unique and different and fun that is, as compared to saying, make sure you pick the right business to work with? I mean, that's forgettable, right? You're not going to remember that. Reading something like this, you might even laugh out loud. You might just hit the Facebook like button just because, that cracked you up, or because, you yourself love Red Bull vodkas, all right? So there's a lot of thought that goes into the stuff that I write. Not only am I trying to use metaphors and make it fun and unique and memorable and share-worthy, but I'm also, this goes back to speaking to the worldviews of my ideal customers. So, and I'm not trying to sell to alcoholics. I'm trying to connect with people who are a little bit more laid back, a little bit more free-spirited. That doesn't mean that I only want to sell stuff to people who like Red Bull vodkas. I don't even care if my customers drink. And a lot of them who join and buy my stuff and buy our coaching don't drink. We actually did a survey on this. It was funny. But they thought this was funny, and by the nature of that, they were my type of people. They were Dan's type of people. Do you see that? They're okay with other people drinking. Some people are so uptight, they don't drink, but they don't want you drinking either. That's not the type of person I want to do business with. So do you see how this really connects me? Now, what if someone comes along and their favorite drink of all time, they're a social drinker like me, and once a week, they might get together with a few friends and have a few drinks, and they always drink a sugar-free Red Bull with not just any vodka, but Grey Goose vodka. What do you think that person who reads that sentence of mine, what do you think they think about me? They instantly like me. They instantly see me as someone who could be their friend, and we buy from people we know, like, and trust. Again, this is overkill for local. I admit, Dan would probably never worry about this stuff, but I think he'll appreciate me teaching this to you, because the more effective you can become at writing, the better off you're going to be in business, period. Okay, so murder your metaphors. 14, avoid cliches. Okay, so if, again, on that first draft, and you can write stuff that comes out as cliche. I do it all the time. Again, it's that editing process that's important, so you go back and change it. So if you get that first draft down and you remember writing something, or you go back and read it and you think, man, everyone says that. Edit that. Go back and edit that. Don't say things like, you only live once, right? Anything that's super cliche that everyone says all the time that's been beat to death, do not say that. That's one of the biggest things you can do to blend in and be forgettable, right? Say it in different ways. Job killing, murder your 9 to 5. Think about that. Do you know how much thought I put into that brand when I made that? I didn't want to say be your own boss. I didn't want to say work from home. I didn't want to say make money online. That stuff is so overplayed, it's not even funny. In fact, if I would have said something like fire your boss, work from home, be your own boss, I would have instantly, at least at a subconscious level, been seen as everyone else. He's just like every other guru. He's like every other course out there. He's like every other thing. Okay, now how many sites have you come across that are teaching you ways to make money online that have a brand that says job killing, murder your 9 to 5? Okay, again, think about how many things. I annihilated my verb with that. I used murder. It was memorable. It was not cliche. And before I get to this next one, okay, so be uncommon. No one gives a shit about bland. Think purple cow. So Seth Godin's whole analogy or metaphor, whatever the correct term is. See, I don't even know my metaphors for my analogies. But his whole thing was like, he had this big thing about, in fact, I think it was one of his books that I've read, and I probably forgot it, but if you're driving down the road, right, and you see a bunch of cows grazing in a field, especially if you're from the Midwest like I am, you're never going to think twice about that. You're not going to stop the car, you're not going to take a picture, you're not going to tell anyone about it. So his whole thing is like, become a purple cow in this case. So if you wanted someone to stop, take a picture of you, and then go home and share that picture on Facebook, tell all their friends and family, what would make them do that? Well, what if you were a purple cow? What if you're cruising down nowhere, Iowa, right, in between towns, and there's nothing but farms, and you see all these cows grazing, and all of a sudden you're cruising along, and all of a sudden there's a purple cow in the middle of all of these regular brown and black and white spotted cows, a bright purple cow. You would freaking pull the car over, you'd get out, you'd be like, holy crap, I can't believe this. You'd get your phone out, you would talk about that, you would share that, you would spread that around. Okay, that's what I mean by being uncommon, right? Don't blend in with the pack. So if you say cliche stuff that's completely overused, you're going to blend in, and that's going to make you a very, very average at best writer, okay? Become an alliteration whore, okay? So think, alliteration is when you say two or more words with the same sound at the beginning of it, okay? So usually like the same letter. So Daffy Duck, Mighty Mouse, Buffalo Bill, Circuit City, Prophet Pimp. If you guys followed my old work, I had an alter ego that went by Prophet Pimp. There's a reason for that. I wanted to use alliteration. It's more memorable. Instead of the online prophet, no one cares about that. Prophet Pimp, that's way more memorable. It has a ring to it. You can think of dozens and dozens of examples off the top of your head. You know, you feel my flow, Frank. That's another sort of use of this alliteration, right? Feel, flow, Frank, right? Three FR sounds right there, okay? So alliteration makes your stuff really pop. It's tough to overdo it. I suppose you could, so again, use a little common sense here. Not every sentence needs to use alliteration, but it is pretty tough to overdo it. So this is something that really makes your stuff pop as well. And then finally, place a safety net under your content. So if this was the end of my post, if this was the end of, let's say, my homepage for my Phoenix Limo site, I would get through all of my bullets. I would use everything I just described here. I'd be long and comprehensive and synonyms and use better verbs and all this great stuff. I'd have the formatting on point. And then in case someone did come through and read all of this, rather than just having it just end with nothing here, and hoping and praying that they scroll back to the top and call the phone number, I would put a safety net under that content so that they can opt in right here too. So I would probably have a phone number at the top, a quote form maybe in the upper right, and then under here, maybe a link back to, that opt-in form or another opt-in form, or just a recap. Hey, here's my phone number. Here's our email, if you're ready to rock and roll. So in the example of a limo site, you could end it by saying something like, ready to roll with us. Your hassle-free Phoenix Limo rental quote is waiting on the other end of this easy-peasy lemon-squeezy form. Okay, again, sort of like alliteration. This is like purple cow stuff. It rhymes, it's funny, it's different, it's unexpected. But again, it's just a reminder, fill out this form, to get your hassle-free quote or whatever it is, and then they become a lead. And when we get leads, we make money for the business and therefore for ourselves. Okay, so this is a great template that you can use. This is how you can structure your content. This is how you know exactly what to say and how to say it, and you can use this and rinse and repeat on every single Weebly site you make, in any niche, and for every single page on your site. Yes, you can really plug this into every single page, so you should never be sitting there twiddling your thumbs with a blank screen open going, geez, I have no idea what to write. I don't know how to make this page. You structure and design the site exactly how Dan taught you in the previous videos, and then this is how I would write it. So again, whatever it is, and yes, you can deviate from this slightly. So if you have a 20-page site, for your limos, and you're talking about a limo for prom and a limo for a corporate event and a party bus for this or that, does every single page have to have a how-to headline? No. I mean, you could switch it up, but again, if you're stuck, this is a fail-proof formula that has generated billions and billions of dollars. So when in doubt, just follow this formula and plug in, your niche, the product or service that local business sells. Your company here, which would be your URL. Your qualifying statement right here. Your bullets right here. So again, if this was, let's say page number 2 was Party Bus Phoenix, right? Again, I would use, I might even just say something like how to rent a party bus in Phoenix, Arizona in the next 5 minutes flat, or something like that. And then I would probably say again something very similar to this. Of course, you don't want duplicate content between different pages of your own site. This is important too. So don't use this exact same statement or paragraph on more than one page. Every page has to be unique content, unique from every other site on the web and unique from your own stuff as well. If Google sees that you have a 15-page site and all 15 pages start off with the same basic headline and the same paragraph right here, that's what's called duplicate content. They're going to see those other 14 pages in addition to your homepage. They're going to see the other 14 ones who basically have the same exact content as weak, thin, duplicate types of content, and they're not going to want to rank those pages. Okay, so it's got to be switched up, not just a little bit. Try to switch it up a lot every single time. Okay, but again, follow the same outline here. All right, bullets, bold. You see how short I made these two? This is how yours should look. You don't want to bold a big, long, run-on 2 or 3 line sentence. That's ridiculous. That's overkill. That's way too much bolding. So keep it short. Get to the point. What's the most important thing about that number? What is the most important thing about that paragraph? List it right here. What is this person looking for in a limo service? Okay, what can differentiate your company? You have to think like the company owner. That's why we call it the local mogul model. We want you to treat this like it's your own business. This is how you get better results. If you just slop it down and treat it like it's someone else's business and you're just trying to insert yourself and take a piece of money, you're missing the whole point, right? You want to treat this, each one of these little web pages and websites that you make through Weebly, like it's your own business, okay? Put some TLC into it, all right? So, hope you guys appreciated this. If you implement these tips, I'm telling you, your pages will convert. You'll become a better communicator. You'll make a lot more money from every single page that you put out and publish onto the internet. So Brad Campbell with Job Killing. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Okay. In this video, what I want to do is I want to show you now how to set up a real domain for your site after you've got all these steps done. So it hasn't been too hard, I know that, and I know you guys are probably like, holy cow, this is this easy to get this thing up and going, which is pretty sweet. This is how I felt when I first discovered the site and I started hacking through it. Cool thing for you guys is you didn't have to spend the months and months trying to figure out how to use all these little features like I just showed you. Honestly, other than those features, I don't usually use too much more inside of Weebly, so there's not a whole bunch I need else to teach you. Of course, we will do other videos, but I do want to show you real quick inside of Weebly. If you ever run into a problem or a question, they have probably one of the best support areas with all the questions already answered for you. So check this out, and then we'll get into the other stuff. But just if you come into here, Weebly has, like, you can see all of the questions on how to change stuff, domain names, all these different things. I'll try to help you through all the stuff that I see, but if you ever run into anything, just kind of check in here too. Some really good information in there if you ever run into stuff. Let's get back into it, okay? So I want to show you how to change this over to your domain name. So the domain name, you're going to either buy through here or buy Weebly. Here are my rules of your domain, okay? So the rules of the domain is I only want you buying a .com first, then a .org, then a .net, in that order. So if the name is not available that you want, then go to .org first, then .net. Okay, they're all very, very powerful, and we haven't really seen one be better than the other. .com is just the easiest to remember and stuff like that. But again, remember, we're getting most of our customers not through basic means of advertisement and business cards and stuff like that. We're doing it through search. So as long as these things rank, and these ones are going to be the best ones, do not go to like a .info or .us or any of those. They just don't do as well in search. Okay, so let's just say in this instance we're talking about Sacramento Limo. Okay, so in this instance, if I was going to buy a domain name, my favorite name would be city first and service second. So sacramentolimo.com would be my favorite domain name for the site. If that's not available, .org. So how do we do that? We go over to GoDaddy, okay, and this is if you have a GoDaddy account and you want to run through GoDaddy. You can also do it right through Weebly under the settings. Pull this up, and you can go right through here, and we could look in Weebly. So we could do Sacramento Limo. That's taken. Look at, they already have them figured out for us. Taken and taken. Okay, not a big deal. We could do Limo Sacramento. That's available. That's a good one. That'd be a good one. That's the .org. Let's see if the .com's available. Nope. .net. .org. Perfect. So there's one that you could go ahead and buy right there. If you buy through Weebly, they'll walk you through the steps. It's incredibly easy. You just pay $20 more. Okay, so that's all you need to do is set up a domain through Weebly. If you're going to go through, if you're a little bit more tech savvy and you want to learn how to do this through GoDaddy, I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So what we'd want to do is we'd want to type this in. I already own this domain, let's say we went and bought this in Limo Sacramento, because we know that one .org. So I type that in here. I'd hit continue because I'm just basically saying I already own this domain. Okay, you have to be upgraded to your plan. Okay, so that's first and foremost. Once you upgrade, what you're going to do, it's going to give you on the next screen over, it's going to give you an IP address. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video and show you what that looks like. Okay, cool. So I got what it looks like. So let me just show you real quick. This is what you, when you push continue and you're upgraded to the account, it's going to look like a number like that. Okay, and it just like that with the dots in there. Okay, so what you'll do is you're going to copy that number from the next screen. As you see it, it will show you right there on the next screen that number. You're going to head over to where you got your domain. So this is in GoDaddy. Now again, you don't have to do this. If you want to just buy it through Weebly, you can. It's just 20 bucks more. So this is just a cheaper way to do it. All you do is you go into your DNS zone files, and they teach you how to do this inside Weebly on the next screen as well. I'm just showing you. All you're going to come in and do is you're going to change your your @ and your www to this. So I might make you another video to just get more in, but all you need to do is just change these. So you edit them, edit record, and usually this is going to be pointing somewhere else. You're just going to paste in that number right there instead. So pretty simple to change your domain. If you're not tech savvy and you don't want to do it that way and follow those directions, just simply buy it through Weebly right there. It's very simple. It takes a few steps and you're done. All right, we'll see you on the next video.
Hey, what's going on here? Dan Klein. What I want to do in this video is kick you guys off on the right foot, get you taking action immediately. The number one reason why people don't make any money online is because their coaches or the person they're learning from in the training doesn't give them a step-by-step guide in order to get there quickly, efficiently. They teach them too much information too quick, and you get overwhelmed and end up doing nothing. So I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to get you successful as quickly as possible. So it's going to start with getting your first project up and going before you even knew how to do any of the rest of the project. You're going to have so many questions. Just follow my lead. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I'm going to help you. So I'm going to pick out one of the people in our coaching group. Hold tight. Let me grab their information. Okay, cool. So I just signed up for one of our clients, and I just wanted to keep the credentials hidden. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is this is the next screen after you make your login and password. And like I said, under this video, there's an affiliate link for us. You don't have to click on it. It just helps us to continue to grow our staff for support. If you guys ever run into problems, we want to be here and able to support you. I think we make like $8 from it, so not a big deal if you don't or if you do. But if you do, it's right below this, and just click on that and sign up for Weebly under there. So I want you to click on site number 1. Okay, here's the place where a bunch of people make a bunch of problems. They go and try to pick the prettiest theme that they think is going to work. I'm going to show you a theme that I can use every time and make money from, and I just want you to stick with it, get really good at it, and then you can start dealing with other themes. The key here is functionality. I don't care about being the prettiest site on the block, having silly pictures that don't matter. I only care about making money and getting you guys to make money the quickest possible. I want you to pick this theme. I think it's 5th from the top as of today when I shot this video. Just look for this theme. I don't know what it's called, but just go ahead and hit the choose button. Okay, here what you're going to do is right now you're going to pick a subdomain. Okay, and we're going to do Sacktown Limo. Okay, Sacramento. For now, you're just going to choose a subdomain of Weebly. In the future, I'm going to show you in future videos how to register for your new domain if you want to do it through Weebly, which is the easy process, or how you can connect a domain through GoDaddy, which is the cheaper process. But not right now. Right now, just pick a subdomain really simply. Hit continue. If you want to watch this video, you can, but I'm going to teach you all the stuff you need to. So I'm going to go right to build my site. Okay, what you need to know is over here is all the elements that's going to help you build the site. I'm going to show you these elements and how you use them, but mainly it's drag and drop. You want to drag title over, you drag title over, and all you got to do is type in what you want here. Easy. You want to delete that? Click outside the box, hover over, hit the X button, delete. Okay? So the button that you need to really make sure you're on top of is this publish button. Anytime you make a change to your site, publish it. It's like hitting the save button in a Word document. Okay? Very important. Okay, so up here you're going to see settings, store, pages, design, build. Okay, build function brings you back to here. This is kind of your home. You're not going to really need design for anything we're doing, but if you, in the future, design allows you to go change your theme, which I don't want you doing, changing your fonts, which I don't want you doing, and changing your background, which we don't want you doing. We want to keep this simple and stupid on your first site, okay? I don't need you to become a web designer. That's not what this is. That's not what we're about. Probably one of the most important tabs up here you're going to have is pages. Remember that. Pages allow you to add new pages to your site. In a few minutes, I'm going to teach you a trick that's going to make this incredibly simple, okay? What you need to understand right here, this is very, very simple stuff, guys. These are just, right now we're on the home page, which is the only page I care about right now. This just shows you the different layouts of that home page we can have. We're going to have the same layout for every page to keep this simple and stupid. I want you to click on no header. That's it. Just hit save and edit now. When you do that, it takes away that header image. So you guys are, in theory, you're designing a website, but Weebly's really doing all the heavy lifting. You're just pushing a couple buttons. So go ahead and hit publish now. And it's going to ask if you want to publish it to this subdomain, and I'm going to say yes. And it's going to ask me this first time to categorize my website. I'm going to say don't ask me again. Hit continue, and it's going to ask me to verify this CAPTCHA form. Okay, perfect. So this is amazing. For those of you who never thought you could publish a website, although our website has nothing on it, we're live online right now. In fact, we could send this domain, sacktownlimo.weebly.com. We could actually send traffic to this right now from AdWords and actually make sales if we actually had content. We don't. We're going to have it in a second. But look, we're only 5 minutes into this video, and from start to finish, we have a website. We have a domain name up live on the web right now. Amazing. Okay, this is why anyone can do this. This is why people I've taken from not even knowing how to get a Facebook page live to doing this. Okay, so now let's jump right into this and why this is going to be so easy for anyone to do. You only really need to know 3 or 4 things. The first thing I want you to understand is columns. So what you're going to do is go ahead and just drag the column onto the page. Okay, fantastic. See, the columns, you can make as many columns on this page as you want to be able to design your site. You only need 2 though, so just keep it simple and stupid. Now the column's pretty cool because you can drag it. That allows you to make maybe your text part of the site bigger and vice versa, okay? After you drag your columns on the page, I want you to drag your title on the page. Every page is going to have a title. Every page is going to have columns, okay? So this title is going to be Sacramento Limo. Pretty simple. That's the name of our site, or that's the name of this page, right? After you've done that, all you need to go is right below the title and just drag your image and text. Cool. Now, I'm going to pause the video and write something out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, cool. I didn't want to bore you with while I wrote this, but I'm going to read it to you because now I can read it much faster. Okay, this is where you type in your content. Type content here. So very simple. You just type it like a Word document, or like an email, whatever. It's very simple, right? So this is what I want you to read this, but it says, in this section, you need to have 100% unique content. You must not copy any content from anywhere on the web. Google is not stupid. They understand when you do this, and they penalize you for this. Do not steal other people's work. You will pay for it dearly. Use this section to write the most authoritative content you can. Look up the 5 limo companies in your area and outdo them all. The rule on the internet is this: outdo your competition in everything they are doing and you will take them over. So very simply, if the top site has 1,000 words on their homepage, you should do 1,500 words. Outdo them. This is simple stuff. It just takes some effort. This is the most annoying part of the entire process. But if you half-ass it, you will get half-ass results. So now you guys need to say this with me. I will not half-ass my content. I will spend the time to write the most authoritative, I can't spell, content on my niche or my niche, and not chicken out because it takes an extra 10 minutes of my day. I want you guys to remember something. Remember, you'll only have to do this one time and you're done forever. Okay? So look at this. I just created content. Now that I created this content, I'm going to hit publish. Boom. Let's just check out the site. Wow, my content's live on the web. It's amazing. I don't have to be a genius to get a website up. Okay, check this out. We're going to upload an image now. For now, I want you to buy images in the future, but for now, I'm just going to do this for free. Search limo. Okay. I really prefer you buying them, but I know you're trying to save money. So these are $5. I would prefer you buy them. But if you want free photos, it's going to cost you and it's something else, and I'll show you. For now, I'm just going to pick this photo. Boom. If I want to resize this photo, I just grab the bottom of it and resize it. Okay? I just made an update. I want to publish. Publish is just like the save button. Okay. So now that we got that there, now we have this whole other side of the page where we need to fill it out. What I want you to do next is grab your contact form. Boom. Now you have a contact form on your site. Very cool. Okay, why would we put a contact form on the front page? I'll tell you in just a second. But right now I'm just teaching you what to do. So you can follow this to a T. Go ahead and delete the heading. Hit the save button. Hit the publish button. All right. Let's just look at the site actually. You can always pause the video and make sure your site looks identical to this at this point. Looking pretty good. Obviously this content needs to be about a limo, but obviously you guys get that part. Okay. All right. Now, here's what I want to do next. I want you to take this image and I want you to drag this image right to the top of your contact form. Cool. Now, I'm going to give you an image underneath this video that you're going to use here. And you're going to go ahead, and it's not going to be in the search feature. It's going to be on your computer. You need to save it to your computer. And if you have problems with that, that's okay. I can show you in another video how to save it to your desktop. I think I have it right in here. I think I do. If not, maybe it's on my desktop. I just got to find the image. This won't be as hard for you guys because you guys will just have saved it to your computer. There it is. So this is the image you're going to use here. I already made the graphic for you. Okay, now publish. Okay, cool. So here's what I want you to do next. I want you to click on the the contact form. I want you to go down to the comment section and get rid of it. Delete. Okay, cool. Now I want you to go over here and I want you to drag over phone number. Perfect. Now what I want you to do is I want you to drag over the drop down box. And I want you to put it at the very top of the page. Perfect. Now what I want you to do is click on the select one. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to name this field, which we're just naming this. So this is going to be hours requested. Okay. Now I want to edit the options. 1 hour. 2 hours. 3 hours. 4 hours. Obviously this gets monotonous. Save every once in a while. Scroll down here. I usually go to 8, and then after 8, I always do an option for something else, other. Okay. Everything else looks great. Save. Publish. Always back up my work. Okay. We're 12 minutes into this thing, guys. We have a site that looks a lot better than most people's sites do. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to drag in another. Oops, I got to click on this if I want this. So make sure you click on this. Then I have the options again. I want to get another drop down box. Click on that again. Number of passengers. Edit options. 1 through 6. 6 through 10. This will help the limo company that you're sending the leads to figure out what limo that's good for them. 10 through 15. 15 through 22. 22 plus. Other. Wow. Boom. Fantastic. Okay. Sometimes Weebly's a little goofy and it puts the you can't find that save button. You can always hit publish. Then come back down here and hit save. Alright. So there's one more field I want, but unless you update to the pro version, which I want you to do, I'm not going to do it in this video. But the one more option I want in here is the I want you to add the date. So it would just be, you click on this, and I want the short text box, and you're going to see it ask me a question here. It says a standard Weebly account allows for 5 fields in a form. Upgrade to the Weebly Pro service. Okay, so you're going to upgrade at this point. I'm doing this video for someone in our group. They'll upgrade after. So I'm not going to add this form. But what I want you to add is a short text box, and you just name it date. Okay, so basically, just like this email box, instead of it saying email, it's going to say date. Okay, so just drag in one more box. Now, the last thing I want you to do is come over here, name this form. So just click at the bottom, Sacramento Limo. Okay, now I want you to hit save. Okay, and publish. Okay, this is the end of this video. I want you to follow this video to a T. Get this up into this point. This video has been about 15.5 minutes, and I want to show you what we have up so far live on the web. We have a cool lead generation website in 15 minutes, and that's with me even chatting. So pretty sweet. And then in the next video, I'm going to take you through some more steps. Okay, cool. So right now, this is where we are at in where we left off in the last video. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the next steps. So let's go back over to Weebly, right where we ended. Boom. Here's where we're at. We got everything up and published and saved. Obviously, like I told you, I want you to add that one last field, which is just, if you were to click in here, it's just the date field. So you're going to use a short text box and drag that in there and name it date. But because I'm not on the pro plan, because I'm doing this on someone's account in our group, I can't do it right now. But before you move any farther, I want that done, and I'll show you the reason why. So this is where everyone can make their life a million times easier and make this site so much faster. You can actually replicate this site so quick. Okay, so I want to do one last thing with my submit button. I want to click on that, and I want to change it. So my submit button, I usually like to name it, like, give me my free quote instead of submit. I like doing that, and I like to center it. That's all you do. Boom, boom. Okay, so that's important. And before we do this next step, I also want you to do one last thing. I want you to go to pages, okay, and I want you to go up to this button right here, and I want you to hit add page. And I just want it to be a standard page, and I'm going to call it the confirmation page. Okay, now I want you to go and click no header, and then I want you to go ahead and hit hide in navigation menu. So this, when you click this means it will not show up in the navigation. So I'll show you what I mean. So you'll just see home, about, and contact, yet we just made a new page that just doesn't show up on the navigation. So you can't navigate to this page. So for now, I just want you to pull over this and type in these words. Thank you for, thank you for your interest in our limo Someone from our staff will be contacting you shortly. If you need help immediately, I'll spell this wrong. Call us at 555-55-555. Okay? Simple, and I like to center it. And this is just a down and dirty. I swear I spelled that wrong. Okay, maybe I did. Make sure you spell that right. I don't know if I spelled it right. Go ahead, hit publish. Okay, the only way you can get back to this page to edit it is if you click on pages, and then you go in, you click on it, and you hit save and edit, just so you guys know. Okay? Okay, so now we got that step done. Okay, so the one last thing you got to do is you got to link up your quote thing to your confirmation page. So this is simple. Click on this, and see this thing that says confirmation? Hit that. Click on link, set confirmation link, click on standard page, and what do you know? There's a drop down with all of our pages. I want you to set it to there. Save. Okay? Publish. Alright. Now what you've done is every time someone fills out a quote form, it's going to send them to that confirmation page you just, like as soon as they hit submit, it's going to send them over to that confirmation page. So we can put whatever we want on that confirmation page when we get to that step. But for now, that's as easy as it is. We've set this thing up so as easy as it is, you guys have set that. Now, the other thing you need to make sure is where you want to be sending the emails. Right now I have it going, I'm sorry for showing your email in this. I have it going to your Gmail account, but you could send this to multiple people if you want, and you just comma and put it in your in your other email address. Okay? So just know that you can add more, but right now this is going to go to you, the owner. And when you get your company that's going to take these on, you need to go back and change those very simply. Okay? So here's where this gets awesome and fast and super easy. Sometimes this, let's just take a look at our site real quick. Super sweet. Now check this out. Just test it out. Give me my free quote. Boom! Takes us right to the confirmation page. Everything's working great. Alrighty, let's go back. Let's close these down. Alright. Perfect. Alright. Let's get out of there. Let's save this. Now, here's where this gets good. So, because we have this thing down pretty much to a T right now, what I want you to do is go to Pages. Okay. So, one thing that could take you a really long time, let me go back to this home page, is having to replicate this form on every page. Although, I want this form on every page because people come on your site through different areas based on what I'm going to teach you. Okay? People end up coming on your site through, not always through your homepage. They come through a ton of different areas. So every time someone's on any one of our pages, our job is to create leads for the company we're selling leads to. I want to be asking for a lead. A lot of times I get leads in the middle of the night. So if I'm not asking for, or if I don't give these people another way to give me their information, and it's past closed, or it's closed hours, I'll never get that lead. The reason I get so many more leads is because I ask for leads in the middle of the night. Really, what I'm doing is I'm asking for information at all areas, as many places as I can. So every page is a lead gen page for me. Okay, so understanding that, it would take a lot of time to set up every page with a new one of these custom forms. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Pages. We're going to go to Home Page, and then we're going to go ahead and you're going to see something. Copy page. Wow, there's a copy page. So now I don't obviously want this thing called Home. I want to maybe do my services page. Okay? So the cool thing about this is I can drag this service page up in my menu. So now I have the service page. So everything's been copied from that home page. So let's take a look at it. So clearly I don't want this content here, right? This content has nothing to do with services. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow out this content, delete. But here's what I do have. I'm going to delete this photo. Oops. Sorry. I'm going to delete this photo. And this page is going to be called services. Okay? I'm going to drag in my new image and text. And then I'd go through the same process. I'd find an image that's good for the services page. I'd write unique content. Write unique content about services. Make sure it's 100% unique. Right, guys? And make sure you do not half-ass this page. This page will get you leads. The more content, the better. Okay, so this page, very simply, you're going to go and you're going to work on and get the content filled out. But the nice thing is we've replicated the fact that you don't have to build this again. So really all you're doing is replicating page after page. So now let's hit publish. Let's go to our site. What do we have? We got home. We got service. I should make that services. I'll change that. So let's click on service. Wow, look, our new content's in there. Now check this out. What I want you to do now is go back, and I'm going to give you a list of all the pages to add. But what we're going to do, we're going to this service page, and we're going to copy the page. And here's what I want you to do. Copy, drag this up underneath and indent it. Copy, drag this up, indented. Copy, drag this up, indented. Copy, drag this up, indented. Copy. I think you're getting the point. Okay, that's enough for now, but I'm going to show you there's going to be more. Each one of these pages needs to be names. Okay, so weddings. Next one. Birthdays. Next one. Prom. Next one, and I have a list of everyone you're going to do. But I'm just showing you how easy. Bachelor party. Next one. I'll probably spell this wrong. Okay. Now what do we do next? I want to save and edit. I want to publish right now. Before I move any farther, I want to publish. Okay. So you guys, if you've been sticking along, we're 11 minutes into this video. Check out what we got. We got a drop down now. Look at that. Okay. I want to go to weddings to start. Okay, so what is the first thing we do? We change the heading. Weddings. You know, then what are you going to do here? You're going to write unique content about weddings and limos. Make sure it's 100% unique. Make sure you don't half-ass this page. Make sure blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing over and over again, right? This content should be not this short. This content should be very, very long in depth. The longer it is, the more in depth it is. The more content, the more time you spend on this. You know how many people are searching for weddings in limos in the same sentence? It's huge. The more content, Google looks at you and says, "Man, these people are the authority on weddings in Sacramento with limousines. Like we're gonna, when someone does a search for that based on what we're gonna teach you here in the future, when you have the most authoritative content and you spent the most amount of work, you get rewarded for that. You half-ass this stuff, you will not get rewarded. Okay? Let's go back to our service page. We go to birthdays. Birthdays. You write unique content about birthdays and limos and your city. So I forgot your city in the last one. Okay? Same thing, guys. Copy. I'm showing this. What do I want? Do I want it that short? No. I want it long. Okay? And I publish. Okay? So I'm copying the content to show you how it fills in. And obviously a cool birthday picture would be fine there. Okay? We keep moving. We got prom. What do you think you're going to do on this page? The same thing. Okay? I want unique content about prom. How fun it is to take a limo. And the city. You become the authority about proms, limos in your city. And guess what? When someone Googles some combination of prom, limo, Sacramento, and you wrote more content than everyone, you had unique content, you spent a bunch of time on this page, guess what? They're gonna fill out your lead form, or they're gonna call your number that we haven't put on your site yet. Okay? Go ahead and publish that. Okay? And I'm gonna give you a list. It's gonna continue on and on and on. Okay? And that list, you're going to have tons of different pages that we're going to be a big site. We're going to be an authoritative site on the subject. So this is how we duplicate our work from this home page. So we did this work on this home page, but now we don't have to recreate. So if they land on this page, I don't have to reset the confirmation page every time. I don't have to rebuild this button every time. I don't have to redo all these fields every time, which is super time consuming. I'm basically replicating my form over and over and over again, and this is only the stuff that I need to change. I just need to change the name of my stuff, the content, and the picture, and then I do it again. Remember, all this happens inside the pages. If you ever need to change something about your pages, it's very easy. But basically, just stick to the process. Copy your page, drag it up, put it under your services. Copy your page. Now, obviously, there's going to be at some point where you're going to have more than just, these pages. So, for instance, I might do another page, or copy my page, and I want to add it to just the main header. So, let's just say that's my fleet. Fleet. Save and edit. Now, what do I want to do? I publish first and foremost right now. Okay? Now what do I have? I have this page on my fleet. Our fleet. Guess what you'd write here? Write unique content about what? Your fleet. And your city. And how awesome you are. Publish. Not hard stuff, guys. Let's take a look how far we've got here in the 30 minutes, and then we're going to stop this video and wait to see you on the next one. Look at this site we have right now. We got a multi-page site. We're starting to become an authority site in limos in 30 minutes following this process. This is amazing. Okay, we don't want that. I'll fix that in a second. If you ever want to remember, if we got to go back to those pages to fix that part. So we saw that about page. All it was the short header, so just go to no header. And contact page was also short header, no header. Why do I do that? You guys might think like I'm crazy, you should have pictures. It's simple, it's easy. People are coming to the site not to be wowed by your graphics that are taking up the entire page. They're here to get some information about your services and give you some information about them. And we're gonna teach you how to do that. That's why these things work so well. See you on the next video.